Welcome to the Pink Ink Classroom. Come on in and let's get started. Today we're going to work on adding gorgeous skies to the background of some of our stamped images. This helps to extend the image beyond the line work to make it a little bit bigger and fuller and more interesting. So the first one I'm going to do is this Bluebonnet Highway stamp, which will benefit greatly from having a sky put in behind the landscape. I'm going to start by adding this soft blue in two arcs, starting at the left-hand edge of the landscape and pulling the blue color in a nice arced shape towards the center post here. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So I'm starting next to the horizon line and pulling this arc of color in toward the middle. This is my base layer of sky. And now I'm going to add the base layer of sun with the softest yellow. So I'm filling in the horizon line and again pushing it toward the center. And this is sort of an oval shape that fills in where the sky ends. So these are my two base colors. Now the fun part starts when you start to add some deeper colors. So I'm switching to a darker blue and making a nice deeper blue right along the edge of that horizon and softly pulling the color out into my blue base layer. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And now I'm going to kind of join these two blue shades with a mid-tone blue to like beef up the blue color a little bit. I'm pushing it a little bit into the yellow. We want to ultimately make a blend there. And so I'm kind of using this blue to join the lighter to the dark. And now I'm going to start adding the sun colors to the yellow. So I'm going to put a smidge of orange right in the center, and this is where the sun would actually be going down. So that would be the deepest color right here as it sets off into the horizon. And again, I'm going to join these two colors, the orange and the yellow, with a yellowed orange, and that's going to help to make our blend between dark to light. So you've got 1, 2, 3 colors in the yellow and 3 colors in the blue. Now we're going to put in the sunset colors, and this is where it gets really pretty. I'm using a hot pink, and I'm going to join the yellow to the blue by overlapping those two edges with a nice feathery wash of pink. So I'm always starting at the horizon line and moving toward the center, at the horizon line, moving toward the center, overlapping, kind of joining those two color families, blue to yellow. And you get this lovely rainbow sort of sunset effect. And the last thing I'm going to do is add just a touch of purple. And here I like to use kind of a sketching motion here, just pulling it across horizontally, always working so it goes across the horizon line, and maybe softening that up just with a little bit of lavender here. So we end up using almost all the colors in the rainbow to make this lovely sunset on our skyline. Now, the next piece I'm going to work on has a sun drawn into it. It's a seascape this time, so we're going to have to treat this just a little bit differently because we want to incorporate the drawing of the sun into our landscape, into our horizon. So I'm going to start this time with the yellow, and I'm going to color in, it's basically a yellow half circle where these sun's rays extend out into the sky. So I'm filling in, this is my base layer, and I'm using those ray marks as my guideline. And then I'm going to again use the blue as a base layer This time I'm kind of just filling it on the sides of the lighthouse, making sure you're covering in all the blank areas here. But again, it's the same principle. You've got yellow in the center and blue on the outer edges. And so that's my base layer. You can see on this one that this one is slightly off center, but it doesn't matter. It's the same principle. And now I'm going to start to put in, again, the dark blue at the edge of that horizon line, feathering it up toward the center, darkest at the horizon, and then to the other side as well. And using the mid-tone blue to kind of join the dark to the light, just to soften it out a little bit. You can see I've kind of colored around the rays of the lighthouse too. That's an option. And now I'm going to really use the ball of the sun here as my guideline for this orange. I like to leave a little bit of a highlight on it, but I'm basically coloring it in like a little ball, and then pushing the orange color out from that circle into the ray areas, maybe going out about 1/3 of the way, just like this. And I'm kind of using a pencil motion that follows the direction of the rays. Just push, push, push out like that. And then again, I'm switching to a yellowed orange. I'm doing the same thing to join these two colors together. And I'm thinking that this yellow still looks a little pale, so I might go back and just give the base yellow just a bit more color. Okay, now I'm going to do the joining thing again by joining the yellow and the blue with pink. And again, we're kind of following the shape of these rays going around. You can do like 1, 2, 3 layers until you get it to a darkness that you like. Sunsets can be pretty vivid, or they can be soft. And you're kind of pushing it in both directions, into the blue and into the yellow. Then again, I'm going to add a little bit, just a hint of purple on it to give it a little more color. And that last bit of lavender to soften it out into the blue. Now on this one, you can see the sun is casting light onto the waves here. So we want to go back. This is the last thing I would do, and take a little bit of yellow and color the path of the sun onto the water. Just a little bit. Just a hint of that kind of makes a nice shiny band all the way down to the sand. I just wanted to give you a couple more examples of a different lighthouse scene and a simple beach scene with umbrellas, and show you how this same sunset coloring technique can work in a couple of different stamps. Okay, so now we're going to look at what we did. Here is a sunset that we did freehand, and here is one that we made with a sun drawn on the image. But you can see in both of these examples how adding that color to the horizon line really gives your stamp a lot more interest, adds a lot more color, and makes it look more like a real scene. So that's how I use lots of different rainbow colors to add a glorious sky into my stamped images.